Once upon a time. Mr. Clancy's Beyblade Factory. Up a big hill, down a long path, through a thick forest. There's an old house. This is a Clancy castle. There are now many Clancys who also live here. Uncle Ben and Mr. Clancy, Lucas, Rosanna, Ellie and Violet, Baby Owen, and Hurley the dog, and Evans. Evans, the organizer. Evans is fondly called the organizer by his friends because once he organized everything in the house, even Uncle Ben's Beyblades. He polished each Beyblade ever so carefully, and he stacked them one on top of another. He made two very neat piles for Uncle Ben. Then he grouped them and put them into tubes. Each tube had exactly 5 Beyblades for each day of the week. Because on the weekends, Uncle Ben used his fancy Beyblades with the very detailed bottoms. Then Evans made a sign for him. Uncle Ben just loved the way that Evans had organized his Beyblades. Now, every time he battled, he would organize them just like Evans had in piles of 5 in tubes. He used the T-chart to help him. One day, Uncle Ben was getting his battle on. Hurley was helping. He grabbed a big bottle of glue, which often gets spilled in his teeth. Before Uncle Ben could yell, "No, Hurley, not with the colors," he had dumped it all over Uncle Ben's Beyblades. Uncle Ben attempted to put the Beyblades in the dishwasher. But when Uncle Ben took the Beyblades out of the washer, there were swirls, blobs, and blotches everywhere, as the colors were all mixed up. The red Beyblade had a pink and green on it, and the blue Beyblade was now a turquoise and yellow. Hurley went to Sal's mat with a sad look on his face. Mr. Clancy made him feel so much better, though. When he saw what he had done, he said, "Oh, Hurley, you are an artist. Those are the most beautiful Beyblades I have ever seen." Hurley wagged his tail and grinned so big you could see all his teeth. And right then, Mr. Clancy decided to start a Mr. Clancy's Beyblade Factory. He went to the store where Uncle Ben bought his Beyblades, Toys R Us. And he ordered lots and lots and lots in all colors and styles. Next, he bought the big bottles of glue and the Pringle tubes. He took everything back to the dishwasher. First he laid out the Beyblades. Hurley did the second step. He poured the glue all over them. Then Mr. Clancy washed them all and hung them on a clothesline to dry. "We will sell these," he pronounced proudly. Soon there were Beyblades hanging on clotheslines everywhere. In the house, up the biggest staircase, to Evan's room, in Lucas's room, in Ellie's room, in Rosanna's room, and in Violet's room. Baby Owen had them hanging from his crib, but Hurley even had them in his doghouse. I need to organize, Evan thought. Everything is a mess again, and we need to know how many Beyblades we have. And so he did. Evan scooped his Beyblade carefully and stacked them one on top of another. First, he made piles with 5, but these looked very small, so he put 2 piles together to make a 10. He rolled them up and put them in a tube. Lucas, Ellie, and Rosanna began to help, and soon the Beyblades were all organized. How many do we have? Uncle Ben asked. 4 tubes of 10 and 3 loose ones here, Evans reported with satisfaction. 43. We have 1 tube of 10 and 8 loose here, Lucas and Ellie yelled from upstairs. 18. Violet and Rosanna were still working on the rest of the house. Soon they finished 2, and they came running in. 39, they announced with glee. We have made 3 tubes, and we have 9 loose ones left. We were 1 short, so we couldn't make another tube. We need a way to keep track, Evans said. I will make another t-shirt. That way I can organize the tubes of 10 and the loose ones. Will we have enough loose ones to make another tube? Well, no. When Evans was done writing, he stepped back and looked at the t-chart. I think maybe we can make another tube, he said, as he added up all the loose Beyblades. Yep. 20 loose ones. He wrote that down. We can make 2 tubes, Rosanna said, jumping up and down. 20 is 2 tubes. Evans crossed out the 20 and wrote 2 in the tubes of 10's column. Then he put a 0 in the column of the loose Beyblades, because now there was no loose ones left. They were all in tubes. Then he added up the tubes and wrote a 10. 10 tubes exactly, Evans said with a satisfied smile. And that's 100 Beyblades. Wow, I think we are ready to open Mr. Clancy's Beyblade shop. And so he made a big sign. Soon the customers came. Some of the customers, named a Beaton, a McPherson, a Darren, and a Lily, all agreed that these Beyblades were the most beautiful ones they had ever seen. Evans used his T-chart to keep track of the number of Beyblades they had in the factory. When the first order came in, it was for 13 Beyblades. 1 tube and 3 loose, Evans thought. All the Beyblades were in rows, so Evans opened 1 tube and wrote 9 tubes and 10 loose on his chart. He still had 100 Beyblades, but now he could keep track more easily. Underneath he wrote 1 tube and 3 loose for an order of 13, and gave that number of Beyblades to the customers. Then he subtracted. Now there were 8 tubes, 7 loose ones left. 87 Beyblades left to sell. From that day on, every time a Beyblade orders came in, Evans would record them on his D-charts. Mr. Clancy was very happy that Evans had found a way to organize his supply. He and Hurley always knew when the supply was running low, as they had to make more. And then Evans will record that too. Soon Mr. Clancy's Beyblade factory was famous, and customers came from all over, near and afar. Uncle Ben liked to tell the customers that it had been his idea to make the beautiful Beyblades, that he had thought of it one day when he was getting his battle on. But Mr. Clancy wouldn't let him get away with that story. He would take all the customers to Hurley's mat to meet him. He had asked Evans to make a big sign too. It read, "Hurley, the artist of Mr. Clancy's Beyblade Factory."